Shamsur Rahman was a Bangladeshi poet, columnist and journalist. Rahman, who emerged in the latter half of the 20th century, wrote more than 60 books of poetry and is considered a key figure in Bengali literature. He was regarded as the unofficial poet laureate of Bangladesh. Major themes in his poetry and writings include liberal humanism, human relations, romanticised rebellion of youth, the emergence of and consequent events in Bangladesh, and opposition to religious fundamentalism. Education. Shamsur Rahman was born in his grandfather's house 46 No. Mahatuli, Dhaka. His paternal home is situated on the bank of the river Meghna, a village named Pahatoli, near the Raipura Thana of Narsinghdi district. He was the fourth of 13 children. He studied at Pogo's High School, from where he passed matriculation in 1945. Later he took his I.A. as a student at the Dhaka College. Shamsur Rahman started writing poetry at the age of 18, just after graduating from the Dhaka College. He studied English literature at the Dhaka University for 3 years but did not take the examination. After a break of 3 years he got admitted to the B.A. pass course and received his B.A. in 1953. He also received his M.A. in the same subject, where he stood second in second division. In his leisure after the matriculation, he read the Golpogucho of Rabindranath Tagore. He told that this book took him into the extraordinary world and transformed him into an altogether different personality. In 1949, his poem Unis Showan upon Chash was published in Sonar Bangla, which was then edited by Nalini Kishaguho. He had a long career as a journalist and served as the editor of a national daily, Dainik Bangla, and the weekly Bichitra in the 1980s. A shy person by nature, he became an outspoken liberal intellectual in the 1990s against religious fundamentalism and reactionary nationalism in Bangladesh. As a consequence, he became a frequent target of the politically conservative as well as Islamists of the country. This culminated in the January 1999 attack on his life by the militant Harkat al-Jihad al-Islami. He survived the attempt. Poetry. Shamsur Rahman's first book of poetry, Prothom Gandwad Yomarati Uraji, was published in 1960. He had to go through the political turbulence of 60s and 70s, which also reflected in his poems clearly. He wrote his famous poem Acid Ashut, which was written with respect to the mass uprising of 1969 led by Maulana Bhazani. During the Bangladesh Liberation War he wrote a number of poems based on the war. These poems were so inspiring that they were recited at the camps of freedom fighters. Later these poems were published in Bondi Shabir in 1972. Later he continued writing poems in the independent Bangladesh and remained as the poet whose poems reflect the history of the nation. During the historical movement against Urshad he published his book Bukta Bangladesh Hridoy, indicating the great sacrifice of Anwar Hussain. Poetic diction. Shamsur Rahman wrote most of his poems in free verse, often with the rhythm style known as Poya or Okshobrito. It is popularly known that he followed this pattern from poet Jibanananda Das. He also wrote poems in two other major patterns of Bengali rhythmic style, namely, Matrabrito and Shwarobrito. Career in journalism. Shamsur Rahman started his professional career as a co-editor in the English Daily Morning News in 1957. Later he left this job and went to the Dhaka center of the then Radio Pakistan, but he returned to his own rank at Morning News in 1960 and was there till 1964. After the liberation of Bangladesh he wrote columns in the daily Dainik Bangla. In 1977 he became the editor of this daily. He also jointly worked as the editor of Bichitra, a weekly published since 1973. During the period of President Urshid, he got involved with internal turbulence in the Dainik Bangla. A rank chief editor was created to take away his position as the top executive and rip him of all executive powers. In 1987 he left the daily as a protest against this injustice. He also worked as the editor of monthly literary magazine Adhuna for 2 years since 1986. And as the main editor of the weekly Muldhara in 1989. He worked as one of the editors of Kobi Kantha, an irregular poetry magazine, in 1956. Death. His health broke down towards the end of the 1990s, and on 2 occasions he received major cardiac surgery. He died on the 17th of August 2006 of heart and kidney failure after having been in a coma for 12 days. He was 77. Critical acclaim. Shamsur Rahman Siddiqui, a friend and critic, describes Shamsur Rahman as one who is deeply rooted in his own tradition. Quote, "In his opinion, Shamsur Rahman still soaks the language of our times, transcending the limits of geography. In his range of sympathy, his Catholicity, his urgent and immediate relevance for us, Shamsur Rahman is second to none." Professor Saeed Mansour al-Islam has similar praise for Rahman. It is true he has built on the ground of the 30s poets, but he has developed the ground, explored into areas they thought too dark for exploration, has added new features to it, landscaped it, and in the process left his footprints all over. In the year 1983, renowned Bangladeshi writer Humayun Azad wrote a book about critical analysis of Shamsur Rahman's poetry titled Shamsur Rahman, Nishongo Sherpa. Literary works. Poetry, short stories, Shamsur Rahman, a Golpo, novels, children's literature, autobiography, collected columns, poems in translation, drama in translation. Others awards. Adamji Award, Bangla Academy Award, Ekushi Padak, Swadhanata Dibosh Award, Mitsubishi Award of Japan, Ananda Purushka from India, TLM South Asian Literature Award for the Masters, 2006. Sample work. His best-known poem, arguably, is a poem written in 1971 during the Liberation War in Bangladesh. The phrase Srishti Sukha Alays also refers to one of Nazrul's poems, Aaj Srishti Sukha Alays.